sorry, sir. Please forgive me.
That's all right, William. That's all right.
All right, sir.
Now, in order to do that, we're going to have a more stable frequency vibe, more stable IP. We're going to have to do away with the AC frequencies in the background. And we're going to have to find a way to eliminate the
I understand you, Doctor. Now for an evidential item that will gladden the hearts of even the most strict parapsychologists. On one occasion, Dr. Mueller suggested we refer to a small book he wrote in 1947 entitled Introduction to Electronics.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that book of yours? No, sir. By the way, our friend, Mr. Meek, is really going all out to find that because I want to read those 2 pages you mentioned, sir.
Very well, I want you to read it for you. There must be copies available somewhere.
Well, I think, George, if Mr. Meek, our friend, yes, even if he has to go to the Library of Congress, he'll probably do that.
Oh, I see. All right, well, very well.
No, even the Library of Congress does not have a copy. However, just at the time this tape is being prepared, I have located the book in the archives of the State Historical Society of Wisconsin, Dr. Mueller's native state. Dr. Mueller had given us the design of the electronic circuit to make a small device for treatment of arthritic joints. We built 2 prototypes, and on the small-scale tests by clinics in Florida and Japan, there seemed to be positive results. In this excerpt, reference is made to this device as IFRT. Also, you hear of Dr. Mueller's giving us unlisted telephone numbers and asking us to make calls. We did this on several occasions and with amazing results.
Yes, sir. The arthritic station. You were saying you always bear Hillary Smith or Sean. You lie up or I'll be back. You read about that. I'll charge you another software company you know. You might mention my name.
Mention your name, sir?
Yes, William.
In what respect, sir?
Well, I've been quite interested in arthritis, yes, by the way, William, did you make that other gentleman on hearing absolutely empty cells?
Capsule of cancer. Oh, I know what you're talking about now, sir. No, sir. Dr. Mueller, please, sir.
William.
Yes, sir?
Turn the camera off.
Turn the camera off. Well, sir, I like to record this so that if you could tell me something, sir, and I forget. I'm trying to remember. I can always play this back, sir. Oh, Dr. Mueller? All right, sir. We have stated that the mind, memory banks, and personality survive death of the physical body. A facet of Dr. Mueller's personality, one which was of value in managing large and important research projects, clearly showed in the tone of his voice when requesting that the camera and sound be turned off so that he could make some highly personal statements to William. In excerpt number 6, Dr. Mueller mentioned Spiricom, the name we use for our video research equipment. Work on this device continues very slowly, but here is a late 1981 conversation on Spiricom. have the schematic for that, sir. Yes, sir. I don't have the schematic for the one the cheapie I bought at Radio Shack, but that's the one I've been using.
You're joking, William.
No, I'm not joking, sir.
That cheapie?
Yeah, that cheapie. That's the one I was using when you showed up on television last night. And I guess you noticed how... I'll have to admit I was somewhat frightened when Mom, showed up. And earlier in this tape, I promised George that I'd show him somewhat of what we had accomplished with Spiricom. We don't have any facial features or anything like that yet, but both you and Mom, and I don't know who the other person is, I said just anybody else who comes with the love of God and is friendly. But I don't know who it was, but I just invited anybody, and did you notice the interruption?
Oh, yes, sir.
You did. Good. So, I don't know. There's just not enough hours in the day anymore, Doctor.
William, gosh, get your rest, William.
I know I have to get my rest, but there's just not enough hours in the day anymore.
We conclude this series of excerpts with a most prophetic exchange.
William.
Yes, sir?
Did you make that telephone call yet?
No, sir.
Well, I insist that you're here, William. You must understand one thing, William.
Yes, sir?
No, you're not be here forever. I cannot guarantee your life. Be visiting here. However, I will always do my best. You understand, William?
Yes, sir?
There's a time and a place for everything. So, as I have mentioned before, there's some things I think you should be aware of.
Dr. Mueller's statement that he would not be here forever was most prophetic. As the months passed, I was able to observe that he was beginning to shed his dense earthly vibrations and was starting his progression upward, as depicted on the large chart entitled, "In My Father's House There Are Many Mansions." Within 1 month of his having made the statement about not being able to stay forever, he had increased his consciousness to the point where our electronic system, called Mark IV, could no longer be used for contact. In anticipation of that event, we had already started to design equipment which might someday be able to resume contact with him. Such research is described in Volume 7 of this series, a technical manual entitled Spiricom. We stress that our Mark IV design of Spiricom is of very limited practical use in its present embryonic form. It requires an operator with a very special type of psychic energy. Even such a person cannot consistently communicate. For example, we lost our contact with Doc Nick shortly after it was established, and with Fred after a few weeks. Our Mark IV is not as good as Mr. Bell's first telephone. Although his messages could travel in only one direction, at least the device worked every day. However, the problems of devising a successful two-way system to speak to the so-called dead are far more complicated than those that faced the inventors of the telephone, telegraph, and radio. With our Spiricom research, we must grapple with spirit world energies of which our sciences are totally ignorant. For these reasons, Metascience Foundation has already planned the design approaches for 3 additional types of communication systems. It has published a technical manual entitled Spiricom, summarizing its research to date and outlining these new approaches. It has made all of its experiences